Well, it's time again.
Welcome to the Unlock Your Mind podcast, where traditional beliefs are challenged, fears are confronted, and dreams are brought back to life. I'm your host, Derek J. Love.
Unlock Your Mind podcast. Welcome.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Unlock Your Mind podcast. So glad you tuned back in to hear what I got to say. So today, this podcast, I'm going to be talking about something that's pretty real. It can touch on a few emotions and feelings, but it's a necessary conversation that we need to have. And so, who better to have it? So this is kind of going to be like, when you used to be sick back in the day, they used to have this liquid medication that they would give us called castor oil. It was disgusting, but it worked. So it cured everything from a common cold to AIDS. So if you take castor oil, it's going to suck, but it's going to make you better. Well, this is kind of what this podcast is going to be about. Today, I want to talk about the cost of a lie. The cost of a lie. I plan on doing a couple more on this topic and different specific topics, but today, this one will be like an overview. So this one is going to be the cost of a lie. How many of you remember being lied to as a child and, only to find out later as an adult that it was a lie? Raise your hand. If you're driving, just one hand, okay, not both hands. I remember it almost specifically when I found out that Santa Claus wasn't real. I was so upset because I believed in Santa Claus. I mean, there was elaborate stories that were told to convince me that Santa Claus was real. And, I didn't have the capacity at the time to really understand that that's virtually impossible for one person to circulate the globe and give gifts to everybody. But at the time I was a kid, I ain't know no better. I believed what my parents and what the adults taught me, right? But when I found out that Santa Claus wasn't real, I felt violated. You lied to me. Did you ever have that feeling? I know some people still teach their kids that today. I don't teach my kids that crap. I work too hard for the money that I get. And so I'll be dang if some fat dude is going to take credit for the stuff that I went and bought. So not happening in my house. But anyway, I felt so violated when I found out that Santa Claus was a lie. Were you lied to as a child? Do you remember anything that your parents or maybe some other adults told you that you found out later was not true? There's a cost associated with that. And, lies are expensive. Now, I understand my parents didn't lie to me on purpose to be deceitful, but it still was a lie. And, there's a cost that's associated with that. So I want to ask you, to count the cost before you tell a lie. Because there's a lot of costs that's associated with that lie. And then I want to ask a question. Is it worth it? Is it worth you telling this lie? I got two children, and one is a teenager, and one is coming up into their teen years in a few years. And from the beginning, since they were little kids and old enough, kids will just lie, just kind of because that's what they do. But, I told them, hey, listen, don't lie to me. I'd rather you deal with the consequences and take this whooping, but don't lie to me, because if you lie to me, then I can't trust you. And so if somebody else say you do something because you've built your credibility with me, and I know that you'll take a whooping when you know you've done wrong versus lie to me, which is going to piss me off, then when somebody else say, hey, well, your son did this or your daughter did this, I'll be like, yeah, no, that ain't my child. Did you do that? So I have that trust that I built with them because I emphasize to them the importance of not lying to me. I'd rather you just take it and deal with it and fess up to whatever it is than to lie to me, because there's a cost that's associated with that. So I want to talk to you about 4 areas today, and let's kind of help to shed some light on these things. The first area I want to talk about is the impact on you as a child. What was told to you, what was said to you as a child that you now know is a lie or was a lie, but at the time you believed it. Sometimes I've seen parents who, are just some mean human beings, and I've seen them go off on kids, and they say such mean things to them. You're dumb. You're stupid. You're your little stupid self, and you dumb like your daddy, or you dumb like your mama. You ugly. You ain't, and just some mean, evil things, and like they can't possibly understand the ramifications of those words and how they penetrate the soul of a child. Did you realize there's a cost associated with that? I used to be a part of a ministry called Celebrate Recovery. It's a Christ-centered recovery program. And a lot of the issues that I would see over and over and over again, they started when people were children. Either abusive parents, or they were molested, or something happened to them as a child, and they are still trying to deal with those issues well into their adulthood. So, when you say mean things to a kid, or you lie to them, that has a cost. That they carry that stuff with them way into their adulthood. They may not ever have a conversation with you about that. I never talked to my mom about lying about Santa Claus, but that had an impact on me, and it made me change. I don't teach my kids that crap, but like there's a cost to that, and these are some surface things. I'm not going into anything real deep here, but again, just be mindful that there is a cost to the little white lies that we call them. Number two, I want to talk to you about the impact on you as a student. I've been out of school for a while now, but I remember there was a teacher who told me something that really hurt me, and I still to this day haven't forgotten. This lady told me that I would never be anything because I was misbehaving in school, and something, I don't know, I was in third grade, so how could you predict my future in the third grade? But that was a lie that she told me, and for a while I believed it. She's an adult, she's a teacher, she's a professional. I'm just a little kid getting in trouble. So teachers, coaches, you have a lot of influence. And any other adult that's listening to this, so I'm not exclusive, but talking about students, those are the ones you're going to be in contact with most. You have a lot of influence. Be careful what you say to a kid. Those words are going to stick, and you can either speak life to them or you can speak death to them. Be very careful of what you say to a child, because it's a lie. You're speaking out of anger and frustration, but that lie is going to penetrate them, and they're going to believe it, and they're going to see it as the truth. And so it will have an impact on how they see themselves and how they perform later on in life. So be careful with what you say. Watch the words that come out of your mouth. The Bible says the tongue is like a rudder. It controls and dictates the whole ship. I'm a Navy guy, so I've been on a ship before, and what controls that big, massive ship is a very, very small rudder that controls the navigation of that boat. Just imagine your vehicle. It's a big car, big truck, big SUV, but it's controlled by a small steering wheel. So your mouth, what comes out of your mouth, has a great impact on everything else around it. So be mindful of those things. Number three, I want to talk about the impact on your relationships. When you lie to your friends, to your family, to coworkers, there's a cost associated with that. What's the cost? They don't trust you no more. I talked about it earlier in a podcast I did a few months ago about how, I would refer people for work, and then they wouldn't show up, and they'd make some, excuse about why they couldn't show up, and this, that, and the other. Well, okay, man, I don't trust you no more. So you told me you were going to be somewhere. You told me you were going to do it. You didn't do it. I can't trust you. So your credibility with me is shot. So credibility is everything. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Be a man or a woman of integrity and honor your word. If you lie to people and you have a history of lying or misrepresenting the truth, whatever you want, however you want to pretty it up and fancy it up, or not giving all the details. It's a little bitty white lie, and whatever, man. Just don't those things cost you. I'm just trying to tell you, people may not ever tell you, but they're gonna impact you down the road, and they're gonna relate to you different because they can't trust you because you have a history of lying to them. So be mindful of that with your relationships, with your friends, with your clients, with your customers, in all relationships. I have a person that, has a history of lying to me. Now, he has no ill intent behind it, but I can't take his word serious. And so if he tells me one thing, I'm like, okay, yeah. And so whatever it is, I don't trust it. I refer back to my little time I spent in Missouri where you got to show me, man. I don't trust you no more. Your credibility with me is shot. So anyway, then the last thing I want to talk about is the impact on your economics. How does a lie impact your economics? I got a whole nother podcast I'm going to do, so I'm not going to really get too far into this, but it impacts your economics based on your credit. When you said you were going to do something and you didn't do it and you didn't pay it, or whatever, it impacts. It shows up on your credit. It impacts your wealth. How does it impact my wealth, Derek? Well, there are opportunities that you may miss out on, because again, you've created a pattern of lying or not being truthful. It may impact your economics on a job. A lot of people fill out applications and they lie, and then they find out about it, or you got to deal with the guilt of wondering if if your lie's gonna catch up with you. So that creates stress. So there's all kind of things that happen, and there are costs that are attached to a lie. And so, again, I just wanted to kind of give a quick overview. I'll probably do a few more podcasts dealing with this at some point. But I wanted to just kind of go over some of these things and the costs associated with a lie. I do personal financial coaching. I'm a real estate broker. So those things require me to have high integrity. I can't lie to my clients. I can't give them half information. I can't do that, not in any good conscience. If a client is buying a house, I got to tell them how I think about it, what I think about it. And I don't mean I have to kill it, but I can't lie to them either. Say, oh, this is a great neighborhood, when I know it's a drug dealer right next door. I can't lie. So I can't tell you, that you're doing great economically when you got $30,000 worth of credit card debt. I can't lie to you and tell you that you're doing great. So I have to tell you the truth. That's what I do. So again, there's a financial cost to lying. Then there's also this not so subtle but very obvious cost to a lie. And there's the relational cost. Again, with friends, family, if you're married or dating somebody and you've lied to them, you've scarred that person. Whether they tell you or not, you have scarred them. And, depending on the personality, they may heal faster, some may heal slower, but you have scarred them because you have chipped away at their ability to trust you. So, again, count the cost. Is it worth it? There's an emotional cost. Again, in a relationship, when you have lied and there's distrust, the other person, there's a great emotional cost that they're dealing with. They're hurting. They can't trust you. There's uncertainty. There's doubt. There's fears. Will you do it again? Am I willing to go through this again? How much of what you say can I take for, as facts? How much of this is some BS? How do I process this? I can't trust you. And that's not exclusively to like husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend type relationships. That's all relationships, but especially those of a covenant like a marriage or, a serious dating relationship. I can't tell you how many women are scarred and have been, permanently affected because somebody in their past lied to them. They cheated on them. They did, things that were not cool. And it scarred them, and they carried that on to the next relationship. So I teach my son, my 14-year-old son now, son, don't be in a hurry to get caught up in a relationship with these little girls. Because, you know, you right now, you're 14, that's probably not going to last anyway. Don't get all caught up in no emotional relationship, because that's somebody's wife that you're going to be messing with. And so what you do to her now, and whatever pain associated with you, that's just a bag that she's going to pick up, and she's going to carry that bag to the next relationship. And by the time she gets, you know, in her late 20s, 30s, 40s, and find somebody that, you know, is the man for her to marry, she got all this baggage that she's carrying now because of something that you did. Don't lie. Don't get involved like that at that level with her. And so again, you know, there's an emotional cost that's attached to that, and somebody's gonna have to deal with it. Don't ask me how I know. But anyway, people, ask yourself, is it worth it? Was it worth it? What's the financial cost? What's the relational cost? How is this impacting me as an adult if I was lied to as a child? How is this impacting my children if I lie to them or they can't trust me? Think about those things. There's a great cost attached to that. And so I want you to be mindful of that and count the cost. This has been the Unlock Your Mind Show. Until next week, make it a great one.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Unlock Your Mind podcast. I hope you found some value in listening today. I pray you would share this episode. Share the love. Become a part of the Unlock Your Mind family. We're all in this together, changing the way we think so that we can change our financial future. If this episode challenged you or inspired you or made you want to do something different, I want to hear about it. You can email me. It's Derrick@DerrickJLove.com. That's DERRICK @DerrickJLove.com. Or if you want to do something a little quicker, leave me a voicemail. You can reach me at 832-721-2251. And remember, if you can unlock your mind, you can unlock your money. So start now. Start living the life you love and loving the life you live. See you next week, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Unlock Your Mind podcast. Follow Derrick J. Love on all social media platforms at Derrick J. Love. Derrick J. Love is a financial coach, a public speaker, author, and real estate broker. To bring Derrick to speak at your function or corporate event, contact him at 832-721-2251. That's 832-721-2251. Also, follow Derrick on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or on the website, DerrickJLove.com.